So let me just shut this down and this open so we don't confuse things. You just put the headset on as long as they can hear. So we've got everyone muted anyway, we don't really need sound. So. And then we're just going to, raise hands, whatever. Oh, not hands, just questions here. No?
No, it's a...
Alright, now.
So, sharing.
If you hit the play, that's it. Once you hit play, you should be ready to rock.
So helping dealers scope and quote opportunities, running through demonstrations, and then the technical side as well. So software implementations and even training up dealers to complete some of these installations themselves. We're 100% vendor neutral, work on all brands, and we're also 100% dedicated to the channel. So none of our deals are direct. We purely work through the dealers to help them succeed. So today we'll be running through one of our capture solutions. And the best way to kind of break this down is 3 separate parts. The capture side, so where do you want to pull the information from? Today we'll be showing you from a mobile piece, but it could also be from an MFD or electronically as well. Next is the process, so what do you want to do with that document, capture information, barcode recognition, or even converting that file to a different format. And then the route, so where does this file or document or workflow want to end up? So I'll pass it over to Sunil to run through the demonstration. We have everyone muted at the moment, but any questions throughout the demonstration, just go ahead and type them into the chat box. And at the end, we'll open up the mics too, so we could go through some questions and discuss any questions you guys have. So I'll pass it over to Sunil.
Thanks, Jake, and thanks everyone for joining our call today. So as Jake mentioned, what we will look at today is our Autostore capture solution. And within that Autostore capture solution, as you can see on the screen, we have different modes that we can capture from. So we can always use Autostore to capture from our MFD, from electronic files stored on servers and file shares. But one of the most dynamic way of capturing is through the mobile devices. And you know that this is one of the most emerging technology that we have to implement right now is making our sales force, service force, and anyone who is in the field capable of participating into workflows or capturing information right at the source. And that is what we'll try to show today. Just for the sake of being able to demonstrate easily and being able to have a good understanding of what these workflows are, we have created some sample workflows here. One of the first sample workflow that I will demonstrate to you, and this is just a use case to visualize how this technology can be used in various different ways, is the we all are familiar with this industry. This is like a fire extinguisher company who installs fire extinguishers on various sites, and one of their tasks is to go to these sites every 6 months or a year and do a test on those extinguishers to make sure that they are installed properly, they are working properly, and create a report on that. So most of these companies, you would from your experience know that they would generally have a paper-based pre-printed stationery which they will fill when they come on site, ask the customer to sign. Then when they go back to the office, somebody would scan them in or put the data from those sheets into an accounting database, then to generate reports and invoicing. But we could very easily, with using Autostore and Nuance Business Connect, make this whole process a digitized process without having to invest too much in technology and in time and effort in creating those forms. So using Autostore and Nuance Business Connect. So Nuance Business Connect, Autostore is our server software which installs on a server and helps us to create that workflow for you. And Nuance Business Connect is a app that gets installed on the phones and mobiles or tablets. It is compatible with both Android and iOS, so you can install on any of these platforms. It could be a tablet, it could be a phone, and then it will help you to participate in these workflows or start these workflows from the field using your mobile device. So as you see, I'm on my iPad right now. I launch, so let's say I am a technician who goes and checks the fire extinguisher every 6 months at a customer site, and I have to create a report for that. So I came to Print Solv's office today. I open up the app. I have inspected the fire extinguisher. It is all fine. I just now need to create a report for that. So I go into activities, and right now you can see a lot of activities here. That is because I can demonstrate all of these different workflows to different people. But based on your requirement, you might have one, two, or a couple of workflows based on however you need this server to be set up. So I'm doing an inspection report for my asset management thing. It opens up a mobile form for me. This is a form that I have created on AutoStore, and it is a really an exercise of a couple of hours to create this form. You don't have to do any coding. It's a visual drag and drop kind of form creation. At this point, I want to first put the asset that this fire extinguisher is. So I can use the barcode. If I can stabilize my hand. So I can use the built-in camera feature of our phones and tablets to read a barcode. Once I read a barcode, the system does a database lookup to get more information about the customer. So in my database, against this asset, I have that the customer's email is this, and the address for this fire extinguisher is so and so. But maybe I would want to update the address, or I want to change the location. I do have the capability to do that. Because we are on a phone and tablets, we do also have the ability to do geo coordinates according to what the coordinates of the phone or the mobile device is. So when I clicked on the update address icon, the mobile phone automatically goes and looks for the location where it is and gets the address of that location. So it has got the address as whatever is the correct address right now at Print Solv, 30 Church Avenue at Mascot. I'm sitting at Print Solv's office. At this point, I might also go ahead and put some comments that I have tested the fire extinguisher and the pressure is okay, and it's all installed correctly. So I can type in whatever I need to type, or I can use the built-in functionality on all our mobile phones and tablets, which is something like speech to text. This is just using the standard functionality of our tablets and iPhones and Androids. So if I click on the mic button here, it opens up I tested the fire extinguisher and it's installed correctly and the pressure is okay. So that should automatically transfer all of that into okay, not in a demonstration situation, so as it happens many times. So I'll go back to keyboard, and so I would just type out whatever I need to do. So I've tested this extinguisher and it's working okay. And I can also then use another field to say that my next inspection on this extinguisher is in 6 months time from now on the same date. So that will put a calendar entry into my calendar that it will remind me that I have to go back to this site and do a next inspection. At this point, I might ask the customer that, sir, I have visited and can you please sign? So Jake, who is sitting next to me, has just signed that I have created, I have done this job, I have inspected the fire extinguisher and it is working correctly. In some situation, you might want to take a picture of the extinguisher. Maybe it is not installed properly and you want to suggest the customer that it should be installed at a certain height or a location. So at this point, I can open up my attachment box and say that I want to take a picture from my camera, or I can take pictures from my files. I can do any of that. So in this instance, I will take a picture from my camera. And so this is just a dummy fire extinguisher for today. I can take multiple pictures right now and add all of this. So what I'm doing by doing all of this is, in fact, and I will show you towards the end, is I'm creating a form which I have I have created a template of whatever this company was using previously as a pre-printed stationery. I'm going to superimpose this information that I have done today on the mobile device onto the same form and attach all those pictures as well to it and send it to for processing. So by clicking that cloud button, what I have done is I've captured all this information on a mobile device at the site, taken some pictures along with it, asked the customer to sign. Instead of on a piece of paper, the customer signs on glass, which is the glass of the iPad or iPhone or the Android device that you have. And all that information is submitted straight away from the point of capture into my systems. And because I already know the email addresses and every other detail about the customer, I would be able to send this information back to my customer as an email as well. This email generation will take a couple of minutes. I'll just wait for it to come along, and that email generated can be sent to the customer. So the customer gets a copy of what job that you did. In my head office people also get the information that I have captured on the site, and at the same time all the information that I captured, if I require, I can put that into my accounting database or invoicing database, so that an invoice could be generated for that work if required. So all of this is happening straight from my mobile device. Instead of if you think of it, it a non-mobile process would be pre-printed stationery, somebody filling it up, signing, coming back to the office at the end of the day, and then somebody else entering all this information into the system. So we have cut short all of that processing time into very minimal capturing information in the field and doing the work with it. So the mail has just come in. So as I said in the email, first is the attachment, which is the report that I have created. And as you will see, the report that I have created is I have superimposed that or form overlay in technical terms onto my existing letterhead. This could be any piece of paper behind. So it automatically captures who was logged on to the mobile device, the date and time of the inspection, when is the next inspection due, the asset ID, which was the barcode that I scanned, the location, whatever comments that I made, customer signature, and the photograph that I took here. And the photograph that I've took is converted as a PDF file. It's attached along with the basic form, and this is all emailed to me. And as I said before, this could be emailed to the customer as well at the same time, because we also have the customer's email ID. So in case you had made any recommendations to the customer, there will be a record at the customer site about that. And again, because we chose the next inspection date, that has automatically created a Outlook entry for me, which will be automatically added into my calendar, so that in 6 months time this will send me a reminder that I have to go back. It gives me all the details, what is the location. If we have the contact person's name and number, we could have inserted that as well. So we have all the information, and this is it available in my systems. A email copy is available to the customer, and all the data entry could also be done into the accounting database. So that's one use case, and this was just a simplistic use case to just trigger some ideas in everyone about there's so many different ways this could be used. It could be in fact also used as most of the dealers, office equipment dealer that we can do this to do our photocopier preventive maintenance and service calls. Whenever we go out to a site, we can scan the barcode on an MFD. We know what MFD it is, where it is installed, who the customer is. We can record meter readings and submit with a customer signature, close our job calls, and so forth. That's one use case. Any use case where you have field staff out in the field filling up pre-printed stationaries or recording something and coming back into the office and re-entering that data into another system, we can do all of that from the field. So that's one use case. And as I said before, to do this, you don't have to be an app developer to create an app and push out an app. This is automatically done using a almost drag and drop operation and a little bit of configuration on AutoStore server, which is installed on the customer's premise. So you can have this AutoStore installed, and then the app will automatically be rolled out to users' mobile devices, and they will be able to see workflows based on what their role is within the organization. So field service technicians might have a specific workflow and other users might have a different workflow. We can create multiple workflows. We don't have any cost based on how many workflows you're creating. We only have a cost on how many users are going to use that system. So, if a customer gets a system, they can have probably 20 different workflows doing different jobs for different kinds of activities that they currently perform on a paper-based workflow. They can automate that on a mobile device. So if you have any questions, please feel free to keep typing them. We can have a look at them. Actually, let's have a quick look at them right now. Yep. So one of the questions is, can you add new assets? Yes, we can do that. So we can have multiple workflows. So right now, what I did was let me open up my iPad to show you is I could create under my existing workflow. I can say that, let me just bring up the iPad so that everyone can understand what I'm. So I'm just trying to bring up my iPad's screen here so that I can talk through what I'm trying to explain here. Sorry, this just iPad screen refusing to come up on the. Okay, so iPad is playing up, so I just brought my iPhone up right now. So anyway, that's a good thing to show that we can do it iPhone or iPad. So what I'm trying to say is that right now, if the question was, can we do add an asset? What I would do is I would add another workflow here. The first workflow is right now called inspection report. So that means it is for an existing asset. I would create another button down here which will say add a new asset. So what that will do is it will show up different fields for me, and that fields will then reflect that new asset. So you would say what is the asset number, what is the address of that, who is the contact person. So we can create multiple workflows, and those workflows will be depending upon what the requirement of that workflow is. So yes, I would create a workflow which is called add new asset, and that will allow me to do that. There was another question. NFR software for this? Yes, we can do NFR softwares for this for your showrooms, and through Print Solv, Print Solv can help you do it some generic workflow demonstrations as well in your showroom environment that you can show it to your customers. So with that, if there's any more questions, I can answer right now, or we can keep going, and then we'll towards the end we will open up the mics so that we can talk through it, and if there's any questions we can answer those questions as well. So right now we will get into the second workflow that we wanted to talk about, and this workflow right now it is configured in such a way that whatever I capture from this goes into Leap practice management system. Most of you may have heard about this or are aware of this practice management system which most small to medium legal firms use across Australia. Leap has recently also migrated from their on-premise version to a cloud version. So Leap is a practice management system used by small to medium legal firms for keeping records of all their uh, matters and clients that they are working on. One of the requirements which came to us from a legal firm that we engaged to deliver this solution was that they go out in the field and capture a lot of photographs in the field, and then they come back and print these out and create affidavits about where these photographs were taken and what this matter and service that this relates to. So we said that we can easily automate this for you right again in the field. You don't have to come back and redo the whole task again. So just to demonstrate that, again, I'm going to my Nuance Business Connect on my mobile phone or iPad or whatever mobile device I have. I go into activities, and in this activity, I go into this last activity called tag photos. So what this allows me to do right now is the first screen here is matter selection. So Leap, as a legal practice management system, everything that they do in Leap relates to a matter. So whenever a client signs up to a new to a legal firm, they create a client and a matter that they work on. So now assume the story is that I am the legal guy who is going out in the site, who's going out on the site and capturing some information about an incident that happened for a particular matter. So in this case, I will select the matter that the matter is relating to this customer to 14001 HANA. That is the matter that is in my Leap system. So when I'm doing a search here, right now AutoStore is looking up at my Leap database to give me a live matter lookup. So if yesterday there was a new client that I signed up and I created a matter in my Leap systems, it will automatically show me here as a selectable item. So I will select that item. So in this case, as I said, the use case for them is they need to know where these photographs are taken, and they need to geotag those photographs with that information. So again, I will click on my uh, the location tab and capture the location of this matter, and clicking on notes, this is where I have to take notes of these things. And as I said before, the previous workflow was taking photographs from their digital cameras or phone, taking notes on their notepads, then coming into the office and putting all of that thing into a PDF file or a Word file and printing it out. That is what they were doing previously. But now I can do from my mobile device. I would be able to easily do this. So I can again type out whatever I need to do. So I will just try to again quickly see if I can use the mic to test this. Photo taken at the incident site. Yep, so this is how you would basically use the speech to text functionality of the phone or the iPad that you are, and you could dictate as much as you want. You don't have to type this out. And as you can see, what this workflow is saying, that any photographs taken will be tagged based on the time of photograph and the incident or the geo coordinates of where you are. You can at this point take multiple photographs, 3, 4, 5, as much as you want. I just don't want to do it for the simplicity of quickness here and upload this. So what will happen in this case right now is similar to the previous case. I'm going to overlay this information. I can overlay this information onto a form. In this case, I'm just going to tag the photograph, which is what the requirement of the customer was. Put all this information that I have captured right onto the photograph itself, convert it into a PDF file. So when you take a photograph on your mobile device, it's probably around this, 14 MB, 15 MB based on the camera that you have. You might have a big file. But what we are doing with our AutoStore server is taking that big JPEG file, converting it into a manageable file, which is not too big, but still having a good quality, so that it is again reproducible as a printout, and giving it out uh, with all the information tagged onto the photograph as well. But because also I showed you that this is, I was showing you that this is using the Leap profile that I created. In this case, I am putting this photograph with all the information that I was capturing into Leap as well. So in the image file that you just see, that I've got one as an email, the same copy has gone into my Leap practice management, which is in cloud. So anybody sitting in office can go and look at this file by logging on to their Leap system. And this is, as you can see, the photograph, very good quality, but still a file size that can be handled by email systems, so that if you have taken 3 or 4 photographs, you can send them out to your customers as well. And whatever I said or selected on my form is tagged here as well. And the best part of this is that anything that the notes is also a searchable uh, thing, is a searchable text as well. So I could just search on anything which is tagged onto the, so all the text here is also text searchable right now. So it's a PDF file with text searchable elements onto that. So if you are just storing your files in a certain location in a file store, and later on you want to search for all pictures that were taken in Mascot, you could just search on Mascot and it will give you all the photographs that you have taken at a particular site. Or you would probably search for your matter number and it will show you all the photographs that you have taken at a certain, for a certain matter. So that's the simplicity and convenience of using the Business Connect AutoStore as a server and Business Connect to quickly capture information right at the source, and not only capture but submit that so that it is available back in your head office into your systems, whatever system that you're using. It could be Leap. In case of a legal vertical, it could be Leap in cloud, Affinity, or Worksite, or a few other systems that we already connect to, or we can connect to certain other systems as well, with a little bit of work involved in creating those connections. But because we do have technologies that we can create connections into other applications as well, or we can create a file in such a way that the other systems can import these files into them by using either a hot folder mechanism or any other email watched service kind of mechanisms. So we do have the ability that we can connect to other systems as well. Um, from a demonstration perspective, this is what I wanted to show for today's demonstration. We do have a lot of other kind of workflows that we can do, but let's just go back to the questions that we are getting, and we can help through towards the end of it to open up the mics and see that we can answer more questions. So one of the questions is, how might a workflow apply in a commercial law? I think I need more details on this question. So when I open up the mic, Daniel, maybe you can explain to me and we can answer that. What are the legal practice management solution do you support with this solution? So we do LexisNexis Affinity, Net Documents, iManage, Worksite, FilePro, Practice Evolve. These are the few of the other practice management that we already support. But as I said, we could actually look at any other practice management. Most of these management systems would have certain ways that we can connect to. And I mean, if you see all of these ones that we are saying right now, FilePro, Practice Evolve, we just found, when a opportunity came to us, we made a few calls, find out what are the means and ways to connect to them, and we found the means to do it, and we are able to do it. Apart from practice management systems, AutoStore has a list of another 40 odd connectors that we can connect to. This could be practice management systems, document management systems, SharePoint, HP Trim, DocuWare, DocuShare, a list of practice management systems that we can share later on. Document management system that we connect to. And we can also make out connectors for other things as well. We do connect to a lot of cloud storage solutions like OneDrive and Dropbox and box.com. There's a lot of things that we connect to already out of the box, and we can always look at connecting to more solutions. So let's open up the forum if we can for answering questions. It might create a lot of background noise, so if you could please keep your background noise to the minimum, that will help us in listening to everyone. I'm just going to open the Yep. So all of you should be be able to speak now. No, that's for the hands. This is muting all of it. How to unmute it? I'm sorry. Just give us a second. That's for our audio. Sorry.
Logged in as as sysad or JSWA?
Sorry. Can you start again?
Yeah, well, if you can fire up computer management, elevate it as JSWA, go and have a look at likely users and see what's in there. And then if there's scanner or whatever in there, you can reset the password to whatever you want it to be. But I'm trying to standardise on ICT 0 Tech TECH in capitals 2018 for that sort of stuff.
Who was the ICT guy? Colin, I think you're speaking with your mic on and we can hear you. You're on a different conversation. Everyone, the mics are open. So if you have any questions that you want to speak to us, please let us know. Daniel, you said there's no mic on your computer, so maybe we'll get in touch with you later on your specific question and we'll help you answer that.
Well, mate, Stu here. I was wondering, is the Leap to Cloud connector a separate connector, how is it priced?
So the cloud connector for Leap is a professional services that we can deliver. So you would actually just get the Autostore and then we would do the professional services for Leap Cloud Connector. So any of the things that is
What
not
sort of money
out
are we
of
looking at?
the box as a connector, all the other connectors that I was saying that we can develop a connector or we can look at creating the connection, that would be a professional services job from Nuance or Print Solv.
Yeah, just for an estimate, what sort of money to do Leap to the Cloud?
It's hard to talk money on this call, but maybe let's get back to you on that.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, Stu. Any more questions? We still have about another 10 minutes to go. It will be good if we can go till 11:45.
So, Sunil, Derek here. You've shown the mobile creating a document and putting it into Leap Cloud. Can you also do scan to Leap Cloud on an MFP? And if so, what MFP manufacturers is the embedded application supported on?
Yep. So thanks, Derek. Yes, I said in my opening that today's presentation is going to really focus on the mobile part of it, but Autostore allows you to connect or scan the documents from any number of sources, including all MFDs, scanners, even desktop files. So if you already have a file on your desktop, you don't have to print it out to scan it back to go into Leap or any of those connectors. Right from the file, you can right click on the file and say, I want to send this file to my backend solution. And in terms of MFDs that we support most of the Fuji Xeroxes out there, the Ricos, the Lexmarks, the Toshibas, and don't do Canon at this point. But other than Canon, we do support most major manufacturers, including Konica Minolta. Any more questions? Yes.
Was there a question? Sorry.
Yeah, no, go, Derek.
Was there a question about commercial law application?
That's right. There is a question from Daniel. Because Daniel doesn't have a mic right now, I said we will reach out to him and understand his question and help him answer that.
Okay. Can I potentially have a stab at answering that?
Sure. You are the lead.
So I think in commercial law applications, what I would imagine is number one, file notes, the creation of file notes. So that's selecting a matter, dictating some file notes. File notes generally have a start and an end time, and all those things that they do on paper forms could be digitized with this solution, to not only do internal in the office file notes, but also creating file notes outside the courthouse, on the taxi back from the courthouse or going to. The other applications are things like opening a matter is often a lengthy process and they want to capture information. There can be verification of identity requirements, which is an Australian requirement that any legal matter relating to property transactions, the lawyer has to spot the person's driver's license and passport. They need to capture copies. So using the mobile, you could capture photos of a passport and a driver's license, tag it against a matter number, and have all that information compiled to a PDF and saved directly into the Leap Cloud or Net Documents or Worksite. The applications for smaller legal firms are very tight, and I think there's some good workflows there already. For the larger firms, you really start getting into, well, what would you like to build, Mr. IT Manager? And there's a large amount of scope to take paper documents out of a firm.
Yeah, so that's a good point. One of the points is that when you get Autostore or Nuance Business Connect, there is no fixed workflows. We build the workflows as per your requirements. So you would not be, creating a workflow where you are skipping a few screens because the system was designed for something else and you are using it for your application. We would really create the form as per your customer's requirement, and it is quite flexible in terms of how we create those forms. Any more questions?
Sunil, maybe you could just, we covered off quickly the endpoints, mobility, so Android, iOS, but can it also work on a Surface Pro? What Office applications can we use with Autostore? Maybe you could expand on the endpoints there, or the start points that maybe it should be.
Yep, sure. So the start points can be any of this, and again, this is still a simplistic picture. There is actually the real PowerPoint on the left hand side. On the capture, we probably have around 15 to 20 sources that we can capture from. So I said electronic files already. So when you have like PDF or Word file, Excel, we have a plugin which plugs in into all Office applications. So you might see an email that has come in and you want to store that email into your SharePoint or your Leap or your Affinity. Right from within the email, you can say, click on a button to say, bring up the Autostore menu, and that will bring up the similar form to what I showed you on a mobile, where you would select whatever the indexing information or the metadata about that email is and send it to your storing application. So any files on your computer, you can just right click and say, process this and send it to my backend application. Multifunction devices, which is what our core business is. So Ricos, Fuses, Xeroxes, and Sharps and Konica Minoltas, we can do any of those. Smartphone devices is what I showed you today, iPhones and Androids, and even to the point of Surface Pros as well. So we can do that. All scanners. And for anything that maybe is not compatible with running an embedded app, because on all MFDs we do run an embedded app. If we can't run an embedded app, then we can always do hot folder or email watching. So what you do is you scan from your MFD to a folder and we pick it up from that folder and process it based on information on the page. So we can also do form recognition, zonal OCR, extract the information from the document as well. So if you want to read certain barcode on a page and route the document based on that barcode, we can do that as well. So we can do folders, we can do email, we can monitor an email address, and anything that comes to that email address, whatever is attached to it, be it a PDF file or a Word file or an image, we can process that, convert it into PDF and store it somewhere. And there's a list of other sources like FTP folders and some other sources that we can watch and manage. I think we are coming close to our intended time. If there is any more last questions, or if you want to reach out later on, we are happy to do that. Answer your questions from there. I really thank you for your time, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you, everyone. I'll close the call now.